I've been told to warn you that I'm gonna go a couple minutes over, but that's so I can get through the whole book. Farty Artie Goes to a Party. It's a children's book. So, Arthur was a very nice guy. He was polite, he dressed well, he kept his shoes polished, and he got his hair cut every 3 weeks. He never forgot birthdays, he was as smart as anything, and he called his elderly Aunt Sophie regularly just to say hi and to make sure she was okay. All in all, Arthur was admirable, except for one thing. Unfortunately, Arthur had a very bad digestive system. And he was plagued with continual flatulence. Every 2.5 minutes, without fail, there'd be a or a and a nostril blistering stench. Arthur's parents didn't notice this right away after he was born, since all babies are stinky, but by the time he was out of diapers, it was obvious that there was something unusual about their boy. Every 2.5 minutes, he'd let rip with a colossal blast. "Oh!" gasped his father. "That boy's a regular fart machine." Now, school was hard for Arthur. As you can imagine, the other children teased him mercilessly about his condition. "Farty Artie, Farty Artie," they used to sing. And the teachers, well, they didn't help when they made him sit separated from the other children, typically near an open window with fans blowing on him to waft the aroma away. Arthur had a lot more colds than the other children, which made him stay home more, which made him more and more used to being by himself. "It's not so bad," he used to try and convince himself. "Being alone is relaxing and I can concentrate." Now, Arthur's favorite subject was math. And as he got older, he worked with harder and harder problems. He learned algebra and calculus and physics and theoretical hyperbolistic topological quadratics. In fact, he was a math genius. And this was a fortunate turn of events. After Arthur graduated from high school, he took online college classes from the privacy of his own home. Eventually, he had degrees in all his favorite types of problem solving and found a job as a research mathematician where he could work remotely by himself. It seemed like a perfect solution for Arthur. This way, he thought, I can do the work I love and am good at and never have to hear people laughing at my gas again. He spoke to coworkers online or on the phone, and he had his groceries delivered. He taught himself how to sew, and he made all his own clothes so that he didn't have to go to the shops. The only time he would go outside was late at night when all the neighbors were in bed. Then he'd walk in the park looking at the stars. But there was a problem. Arthur was lonely. "I wish I had friends," he sighed, "but everyone always laughs at my farts and they wave their hands around and they yell about the smell. I guess I'll just have to accept things the way they are." Still, it sometimes made him quite sad. Then, one midnight, while Artie was walking through the neighborhood, he saw a poster in the florist's window. "Grand Crustacean Masquerade," the headline shouted. "Celebrate this year's Crawdaddy Carnival in your choice of chitinous costume." Yes, alliteration. "Wow," thought Arthur, "that sure sounds like fun, but if there were only some way I could go." The next evening, as Arthur was preparing his dinner, he decided that he wanted a glass of wine to go with his meal. Went the cork as he pulled it out. Like a lightning bolt, the idea struck him. Wait a minute, corks are really good at keeping things airtight. I wonder. Well, let's try it. Arthur dropped his pants, bent down, and stuck the cork right in his bottle. Then he looked at his watch closely. 2 minutes, 2.5. He felt a little bump in his belly, but not a sound escaped his rear, and the air stayed fresh and clear. "Eureka! It works!" he shouted, doing a little dance of joy before he uncorked himself. As he did, the delayed poop tooted forth, but Artie was too happy to mind that. "Now all I need is a costume." 3 nights later, Arthur walked through the doors of the sky-high ballroom, the top floor of the sumptuous oceanfront hotel, and the site of the Crustacean Masquerade. He was dressed as a langostino, and as he looked around the room, he could see all kinds of crabs, lobsters, shrimps, and even a barnacle or two. The room was beautifully decorated. Sea green velvet curtains draped the massive windows, with golden cords holding them back to display the starry night. The shutters of the glass ceiling were folded back to let in the cooling air. Crayfish and prawns gavoted across the wide dance floor, while the band, the music of the krill, played sprightly tunes. Oh, somebody got the joke. Oh boy, whispered Arthur to himself. This party was as fabulous as he had imagined it would be. He screwed up his courage and strode into the throng, determined to have fun for a change. And fun he had. He met and talked with interesting and amusing people. He had a sip of champagne and a bite of brie. He even joined the crowd on the dance floor for a tango or two, dancing with a woman who had admired his costume, of which, by the way, Arthur was very proud since he had made it himself. Of course, every 2.5 minutes, he'd feel a little thump in his gizzard, and as the evening went by, he realized that the pressure was starting to be a little bit worse every time. It was starting to be a little uncomfortable, to tell the truth. Oh well, he thought, I think I'd better start home soon, or I may have a problem. What Arthur didn't know was that he already had a problem of a different sort. Down in the depths of the ocean, off the oceanfront hotel, something stirred. Tentacles started to waft to and fro, and the sensitive sensory tendrils tasted the water, picking up vibrations of music, dancing. And what was that scent? Crab. Food. The legendary and dreaded giant emperor jellyfish stirred from the bottom of the sea for the first time in 1,000 years. He rose through the water, surfacing only scant yards from the hotel's yacht dock, and began squelching himself through the open doors and windows. The chefs and waiters in the kitchen were horrified to see the gelatinous mass moving towards them. They raced up the emergency stairs and ran up, up, up until they reached the top floor. Help! Emergency, they hollered as they burst into the room. We're trapped, and the jellyfish is oozing up the stairwell. What can we do? Cried a hysterical horseshoe crab. We're too high to jump. The jellyfish will absorb us all. Not so fast, shouted Arthur, thinking quickly. I have an idea. Crabs, cut down those curtains and cords. Prawns, pass me your pincers. He fastened the drapery into a large bag, securing it with the various types of claws from the crowd's costume. Okay, everyone, here's what I need you to do. Grab a rope with one hand and hold your nose with the other. And hold on tight to both or you'll be sorry. And with that, he held the opening of the bag up to his behind and pulled out the cork. And more. Arthur grabbed the rope just in time as the giant stinking gas bag instantly inflated and launched skywards towards the open ceiling, just as the doors burst open and the slime slithered into the room. Frustrated, the jellyfish shook his tentacles at them in rage and then slunk back to his watery abode. He had waited 1,000 years only to have to go to bed still hungry. Arthur gently siphoned off the gas bit by bit, and the impromptu balloon soon returned to the ground. Arthur was surrounded by the thankful throng, who shook his hands and slapped his back, praising him for his quick thinking, and then... The crowd was silent for a moment, and then one of the men came forward. Arthur, you probably don't remember me, but my name is Tim, and I'm the mayor of this town. I was one of the kids in school who used to make fun of you. I used to call you Farty Artie and tease you about your farts. I want to tell you now, I'm very sorry that we did that. It was wrong, and it was cruel, and I hope you can forgive us. If it wasn't for you and your flatulence, we'd all be goners. What we've come to learn is that it's what's inside a person that really counts. Even if it doesn't always smell that good. And from that day forward, Arthur was a respected and accepted member of the community. He went to parties, he went to the movies, and he even joined the town band, playing in the trombone section. The end.